Welcome to another edition of Relevant Word Unleashed. Today is December 31st, 2012. Just want to take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you all a very, very happy new year. Thank God for each and every one of you. Right now, I'm sure a lot of you all are getting prepared for your New Year's Eve celebration with friends and family. And I just wanted to take this moment just to share with you a little bit of what's inside of me, a little bit of the direction that I'm going in for 2013, just to share some words of information, encouragement that should hopefully help propel you into and through 2013. I'm going to be reading very briefly from the book of Joshua chapter 6. This is where I'm drawing my thought from. I just want to read a few scriptures in your hearing so you can get some understanding. In the book of Joshua chapter 6, I want to start reading first at verse 1, and it says this: Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out, and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, See, I have given into thy hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go around about this city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear the ark of the ark, 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And on the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. Verse 13 says, And the 7 priests, bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord, went on continually, and blew with the trumpets. And the armed men went before them, but the rearward came after the ark of the Lord, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And the 2nd day they compassed the city once, and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass that on the 7th day they rose up early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord has given you the victory. Verse 20 says this: So the people shouted when the priests blew the trumpets, and it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great voice, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. I want to share with you my theme for 2013. And I hope that some of you all adapt this theme for yourself. 2013 is the year that the walls come down. The year that the walls come down. No doubt many of us, whether we even stop to thinking about it or not, have many walls that are up, rising high, and keeping us from things that we've either been determined to do, things that we desire to do, achieve, or receive, things that were promised to us. And there are some walls up that we've been hindered, or has hindered us from allowing us to achieve and receive the things that are actually out there for us. If you look at this text and you see what's going on, the children of Israel have been running around in the wilderness for over 40 years, and now they're finally on the brink of this promise that God had promised them. All they literally had to do was cross over, and once they crossed over the Jordan into the promised land, the first city they came to was a city named Jericho. The problem with the promise that God had for them is that the promise was behind a wall. I hope y'all get that. There are some things that are promised to us, and they are really stacked up behind the wall. And the only way you're going to get to the promise, you have to actually either go through the wall, break down the wall, whatever the case, find the door, find the window, but you're not going to gain access because there is a door or a wall that's blocking your way. And I'm here to tell you that 2013 is a declaration that you can make for yourself, that the year that the walls are going to come down. And I'm not talking from some great spiritual place. I'm talking nothing miraculous. I'm talking about there are some changes that we're going to have to make in our life. And when we do, we will see some of these things that have been blocking our progress start to recede, and you will start to see more success in your life. And so this year is going to be the year that the walls came down. So what you have to understand, in 2013, the number 13 is a very interesting number, and I've been doing a lot of studying about it. I just want to bring a couple things to your mind why I say 2013 will be that year. When you start thinking up of numbers that actually make up the number 13, start dealing with whole numbers, you really would start with, let's see, the number 4 and the number 9, they make 13. Then you get the number 5 and you get the number 8 makes 13. And you get the number 6 and the number 7 and they make 13. And then they start to repeat themselves. So there's some significance here in this number. And the reason why I say it's going to be the year that the walls come down, because when you pay close attention to the scripture, God gave them some specific instructions. He said, listen, here's what I want you to do. In order to get the victory in this particular place, you're going to have to do something you've never done before. What I'm going to do is give you a new strategy, a new plan. It's going to require you to do some different things. He said, what I want you to do is I want you to march around this city every day for 6 days, one time a day. So you're going to go around the city once a day for 6 days. He said, and on the 7th day, you're going to go around the same city 7 times in that day. So what God said, I want you to circle the city 13 times. Why is this significant? Because when you start to think about the numbers that make up 13, you have the number 5 again, and the number 8, the number 6, and the number 7. I like the 6 and 7. 6 is the number of man, and they teach us that 7 is the number of perfection or completion. So what he's saying is, I'm going to give you a new strategy right here. And if you turn around and you implement this strategy, and you do it to the fullest of your ability, then what I'm going to do for 6 days, you're going to do your part, and on the 7th day I'm going to do my part. Let me show you how this breaks down. There are some things that you've got to try, and they won't work the first time. It's not designed for it to work the first time. It's about consistency. Do it the 2nd day, he said, and the 3rd day, and the 4th, and you get to the place where you have done everything to make it work for you the way you're supposed to do. He said, when you've done that, on the 7th day, you're going to go around 7 times, and what you're going to do is literally, I'm going to make your efforts come into harmony with my efforts, and together you're going to see some breakthrough in your life. And so what I'm saying to you this year, the walls are going to come down not because of what God is going to do in your life. The walls are going to come down because of things you're going to do in your life. And when you start to do them consistently, you will start to see opportunities spread. You will start to see doors open. You will see this wall come down. You will start to see joy, peace, and happiness return to certain areas of your life, because this year the walls are going to come down. So I want to share with you all a couple of the walls that I see that need to come down in our lives. And if we work on this, there are many walls. Some of you will have every one of these walls. None of these walls I'm going to share with you are going to be yours. But you got your own walls. And the key is not which walls come down. The key is the success we're looking for, the end result. We're looking for the fruitfulness in our life. And then we're going to have to make some changes to make these walls come down. The first wall I want to talk about is the wall of self-assessment. See, some of you all have been trying so much and getting nowhere with it, to the point now where you think the worst of yourself. You don't think that you have any value. You don't think that you can overcome. You don't think that you can get through this situation. I'm here to tell you that's the first wall that's going to come down. I remember in one place when Israel had to fight a battle, they said, we're like grasshoppers in the eye. See, you can't see yourself as insignificant. You can't see yourself as feeble or a failure or weak or despicable. You can't believe the hype that people are saying about you. You can't believe rumors. You can't believe innuendos. You can't even believe the truth about things you've done in your past. In order for the walls from this point of your life to come down, you're going to have to first let down the wall of self-assessment. You're going to have to see yourself differently. You're going to have to be able to really internalize and envision what you look like from a successful standpoint, from a healthy standpoint. You're going to have to change the wall of self-assessment. The second wall you're going to have to deal with is the wall of conformity. Some of us, we've been doing the same things for so long. It's hard for us to change, and you're not going to be able to conform to the old ways. If it hasn't worked in the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, it's time for you to break that wall of conformity and start to do something different. You know, I was sharing with someone today, they said, well, all I got to do is keep praying. Well, I got news for you. If you've been praying for the same thing for 10 years and nothing happened, do something different, because prayer is not changing that for you. You're going to have to stop conforming to your old ways and start using a new, sharp, and critical thinking thinking way. Wow, thank you, God. So you're going to have to come down the wall of conformity. What that means is you're going to have to be open to new strategies. In this text right here, now you have to understand, in their 40 years of going through the wilderness, Israel had to fight many wars and many enemies. But God gave them a new strategy here. And if they kept conforming to the old way, this would have failed for them. He said, here's how you're going to fight this battle. Here's how you're going to defeat this enemy. He said, I don't even want you to fight. All I want you to do is just walk. I just want you to walk around it. Just walk around it. For 6 days, I want you to do it once a day for 6 days. And on the 7th day, I want you to do it 7 times, once all the way around. He said, I want to show you something new in 13. He said, all you got to do now is find a new strategy, because you're going to know it's a new strategy. You're going to know you're dealing with a conformity wall, because once your plan is laid out and the opportunities are there and you still are fighting against yourself because it's uncomfortable, then you know you're heading in the right way. If it's comfortable to you, that means you're still conforming to the old systems in this old way. You're going to have to be stretched and force yourself to think, to act, to walk differently so that you can see them walls come down in your life in 2013. The other thing you're going to have to see come down, the wall of disobedience. You got to learn the rules of the game. What do I mean disobedient? The Lord told them specific instructions for them to do. I want you to understand some of the things in the areas that you're going to have to deal with, the Bible doesn't have an answer for. Excuse me? Are you kidding me? I know that people are disagreeing. The Bible doesn't have an answer for you how to deal with your financial woes. The Bible doesn't have an answer how to deal with your social woes. The Bible doesn't even give you an answer how to make your marriage successful. There's some things that are not in there, but there are places that have information and references that have a history that they work. So what are you saying? So once you find now the system that works, once you find the influence, the Bible talks about wise counsel. Once you find the strategy that works for it, obey it. Don't start the principle and stop the principle. Keep on doing it consistently until it produces results in your life. You're going to have to learn how to be obedient. If the doctor tells you, well, listen, you have to take this medication this many times a day for this many days for this to happen, listen, guess what? They've got the information and they're giving you the information. They're there for your counsel. And if you can, well, I ain't going to do that. I'm not doing that way. Well, guess what? You're going to get sick and you're going to die. Your situation's going to get worse. You're going to have to learn to be obedient to all the systems and the powers that are in place to help work for you. They're not there to tear you down or make your situation worse. They're there to make it better, and you're going to have to adhere to it. What's the purpose of having a financial planner if you don't listen to what he or she says? What's the purpose of having a realtor if you're going to go about doing it and not listening to what they say? What's the purpose of having a lawyer and you're not going to do what he said? The purpose of all this counsel, of all these strategies and plans, is so that you can obey them. Obedience, that wall of disobedience, you're going to have to come down in 2013. The wall of procrastination. You've been saying, I'm going to do it this month, next month, this year, next year. Well, guess what? Years have gone on and you still haven't done it yet. That wall of procrastination is standing between you and your promise. It's time for you to get up off your couch. You're talking about you're going to lose weight. You haven't been to the gym once, haven't bought a pair of runnings. You haven't done anything. You keep procrastinating. And the more that you keep procrastinating, the more your situation stays the same. And what you're doing is you're aligning with the universe that's working against you, because it's not going to change unless you change. If you want to start the motion of the ball moving, it's going to start with you. So you're going to have to pull the wall of procrastination down. Stop saying it and not do it. You're going to have to be in that follow-through ministry. Whatever you say you're going to do it. This is the day. Start today, 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 today. And guess what? You're going to have to be consistent with it. You can't start and stop. You're going to have to keep going. The wall of procrastination has to come down in 2013. The wall of self-sabotage. Wow. You're like, well, what is that? Many of us, I found in my own life at times that I was guilty of sabotaging myself. You can put together the perfect plan and put together the perfect team and have the perfect motives and have everything in place. And sometimes when you start to see it moving, all of a sudden, fear will come over you. And you will literally start to do things to sabotage your own success. That wall has got to come down. You get so afraid that it just might work. Or you get so tired of people that it's not going to work. You start listening to everybody else and you start to sabotage your own program. This is what happened here. The Bible said that after they got the victory, when they should be celebrating, there was a man in the story by the name of Achan who decided he was going to obey some of the rules of the game. He was going to change his format, and what should have been a victory for them ended up to be a massive failure for them. Why? Because he was sabotaging himself. He actually stole something that he would have had access to anyway if he had just played by the game of the rules. Don't sabotage yourself. What does that mean? If you start to develop a healthy relationship, and this is the year that you want to be married or want to get in a great relationship, when it starts going good, that's not the time for you to get scared and start to do something crazy to make it turn the other direction. You're going to have to stay the course and allow yourself to deal with being healthy. Allow yourself to grow and to mature in every area of your life. You can no longer sabotage. You can't start with your business and have all the money growing and all the clients coming, and all of a sudden on the next side you're taking the money and you're going off squandering, doing foolishness. You're sabotaging your own long-term goals. You cannot afford for the wall of self-sabotage to stay up. Another wall is the wall of desperation. The root word for desperation is despair. You can no longer allow yourself to be in despair. You're literally, whatever happened in the past, it's the past. It's a new year, new day, new month. You've got 24 hours a day, 365 days to do. You don't have to work in despair. There's probably, truth of the matter is, there's probably more despair staying where you are than actually taking the chance and moving. Don't be desperate. Don't make any wild. This is not the place to take any uncalculated risks, any unnecessary chances. Sometimes it's better to take the long way. Every shortcut isn't necessarily going to lead you where you want to. Don't make desperate moves. Do not be in despair. Don't be hasty and judgmental. You're going to have to bring down the wall of desperation. See, life is not, it's okay to hustle, but life was not to be lived by a hustle. A lot of times people move, when they call it hustling, they're moving out of desperation and despair. Be wise. The wall of desperation will have to come down. If this young man Achan wasn't desperate, he would realize he was already in the middle of something great. And he lost what he had and what he could have gained out of just being desperate. Then it says, the wall of impatience. There's a huge difference between being procrastinating and one that's impatient. Procrastinating means, okay, I'm not going to start. I'm scared to start, or I'm going to put it off. And then there's another thing about being impatient. You just can't just run off. You have to be very strategic. You have to be calculating in every move you make. You have to understand the pros and the cons before you make it. Life is a game of chess, not checkers. And impatient, moving too fast, too soon, hurrying up just to wait. Your plan will work if you work your plan. I don't care if you plant watermelon seeds today, you're not going to have watermelon tomorrow. Why? There's a natural germination that has to take place. There is a process. Whatever you start to plant or birth, you can't get impatient. You don't want to abort your dream by trying to make it come too easy. You're going to have to learn some patience. The wall of impatience has to come down. Just look back over your life, and every time you tried to rush through something, you didn't make success, you made a mess. And I'm here to tell you, in 2013, we can't afford that. So you're going to have to let the wall of impatience come down. And finally, the wall of greed. Wow, this wall destroyed so many people. There's a lot of things out there available to us that you can achieve yourself, that God can help you to position yourself with. But greed is a destroyer of so many great things and so many great people. Be balanced. If this young man Achan wasn't greedy, he literally stole something. Not only did it cost him his life, it cost every member in his family their life. You don't have to be greedy. Everything is available to you. You've got to be a giver. You've got to understand how to share. That's why one thing, if you notice, the richest people in our nation, guess what they do? They're some of the biggest philanthropists. They're always giving, and they always have, because they're always giving. In fact, if you think about it, what they give is always a tax write-off, so the government is supporting their giving. Don't be greedy. Don't be a hoarder. Don't try to hold on. The more you release, the more will release back to you. There are a lot of walls up, but I declare that this year you can go around it. He said, listen, go around it once a day for 6 days. 6 is the number of man in your own energy. He said, on the 7th day, I want you to go around 7 days. That's the number of completion. He said, when you've done all that you can do completely on your own, that's when I'm going to step up. And when you shout, I'll bring the wall flatly down. And he didn't say chaos. And he said, and they were able to all go up in front of them. Everything you're desiring in your life, whether it be a relation, whether it be finances, a new career, whatever, healthy family, whatever you're looking for, it's hidden behind a wall. Your wall might be fear. Your wall, oh my gosh, it could be pain and disappointment. There's a good relationship, great relationship waiting for you. Where is it? It's behind the wall of that failed one. But you're still stuck with this wall up. You can't get into it. There's another job, another career, another company waiting for you to give you greatness. And you can't get past the wall. And you listen, you know what? I lost this one. You have to move past that failure. This year, walls will come down if you start the course. I declare, just keep walking around it, doing your part every day. And what you will see is it starts to get easier every day. The more you go around, when you get to that point, you go around and you'll see that when your efforts will literally start to move the efforts of the universe. And when they come into harmony, you're going to see your life blessed. You're going to see changes. For me, 2013, I already declare, not from a spiritual place, not from an osmosis or a miraculous place. I declare for me, it's the year the walls are coming down because I've already changed my mindset. I broke down some of the prejudices of my own mind, my thought process, and I'm going to make this the best year I ever lived. And I'm saying to you that I pray this will be the best year that you ever lived. The walls will come down in 2013 when the walls of your life start to change. You are going to be the driving force that makes your world change. My blessings to each and every one of you all. I pray y'all have an amazing day. Happy New Year.